Hello, welcome to Local Anesthetic Podcast, your regular injection of weird, strange, bizarre news locally across the world. This is episode 389 now, would you believe? And as always, we are joined by Rob. Rob, good to see you again a week later. How are you?
I'm very well, Alex. Yeah, not too bad at all. Very near to my holiday now, so that's always a highlight.
That's it. And where are you going?
So, we're going to Turkey for the week, which would be lovely.
Right, whereabouts in Turkey?
A place called, I think, Sidi? I'm not. It's near Antalya.
Okay. Where are you flying from, Rob?
It's currently about 25 degrees. We are flying from Stansted, which is just down the road, thankfully.
Great. Right, there we go. Got your holiday plan sorted. Good. What time's your flight, Rob?
It's 5:15, Alex.
How long will the flight be? 5:15 in the morning or the afternoon?
The afternoon.
Right, and how long will the flight be?
It's a 4-hour flight.
And Lara's never been on a plane before?
No. Do you want to know about the transfer?
No. Oh, if they're transferred, you have to change flights?
No, I mean the transfer from the airport to the hotel.
No, it's okay, Rob. I think I just wanted to... Really, I was asking these questions to see how well nailed down Rob had his itinerary organised. Got a passport? You're all in... You know, it's not expired or anything?
A what, sorry, Alex?
A passport.
What's that?
Right. Okay. Well, I'll look into it. They'll be very swift in getting it. I think within the next 2 weeks you'll be able to get one very easily.
Great. Cool. I'll get right on that.
We were talking about rentahitman.com last week, Rob. There is a website, getmeaquickfakepassport.com. Sign into that and you'll be sorted.
Oh, that's a relief, yeah. I hope it's cheap as well.
It will be. But Rob, is there any news?
No, Alex, no. We can crack straight on.
Well, I did promise. I've actually got some stories here ready to go, and then I remembered that last week, Rob, I dominated the story bit. I mean, you did do a listener story, but so maybe I get one story this week, which I'll do in a bit. But you can kick us off this week, Rob.
Lovely. Well, I've got two to kick us off, and I've got another one I'd like to feature before the listener. So we'll see how we get on. But
all right, this fine. Okay.
Yeah, the bump crop. So this is from the Swindon Advertiser.
This is going back a bit, Rob. Remember when you used to do stories from the Swindon Advertiser? I mean, this was your paper when we started. I was news shopper, and you were the Swindon Advertiser, weren't you? I think. Yeah,
Swindon Advertiser, and obviously the Stroud News and Journal as well.
Right.
But I mean, I go to the Swindon Advertiser most days, but that's mainly for the Swindon Town News. Anyway, look, yeah. So this is from
and the porn.
Unfortunately, they've really scaled that down. The sidebar just isn't the same anymore. It's by David Burnett from the 20th of April. Drunk woman's sex acts outside Iceland leaves onlookers disgusted.
Whoa. It had to be outside Iceland, didn't it?
Yeah.
Because, of course,
I thought you might say that.
As we know, mums go to Iceland, which used to be, unbelievably, their slogan. It seems so anachronistic now, Rob, right? But it wasn't that long ago.
No, I think a couple of years. It's definitely in recent memory, I would say.
Yeah.
So, look, onlookers were left disgusted after seeing a couple engaged in sexual activity on the pavement in Swindon Town Centre.
Oh, you said a woman, but it's now a couple. Now it's like that Bollard story I had. Do you remember that a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, I do, Alex, vividly. It's actually two women in this case.
What does it say? I'm sorry, this almost feels...
I've just blown your mind, haven't I?
Well, yeah, there's a slightly sort of... I'd like to know the details, basically. I'm not afraid to ask. Go on.
Well, I mean... yeah, okay. It does actually have some. So police were called to the scene outside Iceland where two women were allegedly undressing each other and performing sex acts in a 20-minute long tryst. Nice word, use the word tryst.
Yeah, what kind of sex acts, Rob?
Yeah, we'll come on to that.
Will we? Okay. Well,
no, not like that. One person described them as being so drunk they did not even notice the police officer who arrived on a bike at the scene in the alleyway in the Havelock car park. So there is a great picture, I'm guessing taken by a bystander, of these two women lying on the floor and the police officer standing next to him with his bike.
Right, let me find that picture, Rob. Come on, man. What's this story called? Give me the lowdown here. Hang on, right, okay.
Drunk women's sex acts outside Iceland leaves onlookers disgusted.
Only in Swindon, right, Rob?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, hang on.
So,
Right, so I'm looking at...
There's two pictures.
I'm looking at a picture. Was it in broad daylight?
Yeah, it was. It was at, where it does say, 3:15 p.m. Sorry, 3:50 p.m.
Holy shit. Sorry, yeah, they are properly undressing each other. Then there's bottles of booze around and...
So there's one with the police car, but if you scroll further down, there's a picture of just a police officer on his bike, just watching them, commit the crime, not for any other reason.
I just want to say ahead of time for anybody hoping, there are no comments on this story. I mean, they must have shut them off. They must have.
Yeah, I would imagine so. So a manager for Iceland who asked to remain anonymous said it was a shocking incident and called 999. My delivery drivers were loading up their vans and saw two females on the floor undressing each other with their hands down each other's pants, he said. Okay. I called police at 3:50. He added that one of the women on the pavement had her top above her chest in full view of passing members of the public. Me and my team were disgusted by it. Why would people do that in public on a sunny afternoon like today? People walking past made comments, and one man with his two children. Oh, and there was one man with his two children and was disgusted. Now, Alex, 6 police officers arrived at the scene before 4 p.m. That feels like overkill to me.
Yeah, Rob, but yeah, no, it does.
It went on for about 20 minutes or longer, and they were so intoxicated as they had a bottle of vodka with them, they did not even notice the first police officer who arrived. One of the females kicked the police car as she was dragged away to the van, and it was all over by 4:10. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Did they purchase anything from Iceland? Not necessarily to assist in whatever they were doing. I just wondered. I mean,
like a frozen carrot or something.
Well, I think.
Hello.
Yeah, like a frozen carrot.
Yeah. Well, as let's leave that there, Alex. So my next story is from the Lancashire Live. It is by Susan Newton from the 22nd of April. I happened to find this story after spotting it as one of the sort of the related stories from a listener story, which we'll be featuring a bit later on. But the headline is Blackpool Zoo is paying people to dress up as seagull deterrents.
Now, Rob, there's a kind of psychological school of thought that says that if you're engaged in an unhealthy activity, a good thing to do is replace it with another that might even be similar, but that is healthy. So you used to like dressing up as a particular sort of mascot. Got you into a lot of trouble. Would you be? Does this sound up your alley? Like, would you like to be kind of like a human scarecrow sort of thing? I mean, you are already. I mean, you might not even have to dress up, to be honest.
First of all, as we said in the last episode, we can't really talk about it. There is still certain conditions.
We could talk. Yeah, I'm not talking about it. I'm asking you, would you like to dress up as a seagull deterrent, whatever that is?
I feel that it would be the start of a slippery slope.
I see. Yeah.
And but I mean, it would be nice to get paid for it because what I was doing was it was basically
degrading.
It wasn't degrading. I was quite happy to do it. But I wasn't being paid for it. It was purely...
It was degrading for the people who had to watch. Rob, it was degrading for the people who had to watch.
They said they enjoyed it. Sorry.
Right.
No. Anyway, back to the story, Alex.
All I'm going to say is that bowl of cereal you used to carry around, that wasn't milk in that, Rob, and you know that.
I don't remember that at all. I can't remember. It was a long time ago. So Blackpool Zoo.
Your Honour.
Yeah, it may have happened, but I have no recollection. So Blackpool Zoo are looking to hire a team of people to wear inflatable bird costumes to deter nuisance seagulls.
Sorry, inflatable bird costumes? Is this a joke?
Yes.
They're getting them to... first of all, a seagull's scared of other birds. I didn't know that. Number 2...
I think so.
Presumably they're scared of bigger birds. So their idea is let's get people to dress up as Big Bird from Sesame Street to scare off seagulls.
You may want to look the story up and see the costumes that they're apparently using.
Oh my God. Okay, right. Give me the headline, Rob. I can't wait.
So Blackpool Zoo is paying people to dress up as seagull deterrents.
Zoo dress up seagull. Right, here we go. Is this the Daily Mail?
No, this is the Lancashire Live, but if it's got
yeah,
pictures,
I've got the
it's
Lancs Live. Yeah. Oh my! I'm sorry. What the fuck is that, Rob? This is right up your alley, though, mate. To be fair, you would love this. Right, I'm looking at a picture of a man, a very happy-looking man in glasses. You can only see. I don't even know how to describe this. I think he's dressed as in an eagle costume. It's quite a rotund eagle, I must say. It's a huge brown costume with sort of yellow feet. What are the feet of a bird called? Feet? Feet?
What?
Bird feet. Yeah, I think so.
That's a good question.
It's got wings. So then it's got a big white head with a beak, and this man's head is poking out underneath the beak. Robbie looks absolutely ridiculous. Is that the costume? Is there only one? Right.
Well, I believe so. Yeah. So just give you some more context. So in a new job advert posted to their website.
Sorry, this is real. They're getting people to wander around the zoo. Okay. What?
A team of people, Alex, not just one, a team of people.
What do you do for a living? Well, yeah.
Well, to be fair, Alex,
I'm an eagle impersonator.
Do you want to take a stab at what the job title is?
Oh my God. First, before I do, because he stood there with his arms out in the sort of scarecrow pose.
Yes.
Are they expected to stand stationary like a scarecrow, or do they sort of wander around the vicinity and squawk?
No, I think they are allowed to talk. I mean, it'd be great if they had to go method on this. I would find that hilarious.
Well, there's a film, isn't there, with Michael Keaton, Birdman?
Yes, absolutely. Good point.
Which I haven't seen, but I always kind of wanted to. Is it good?
It was actually, yeah. I think I saw it a few years back. It was actually really entertaining. Didn't he win an Oscar for it?
That's why I won some award. Anyway, so you want me to guess what they're called?
Yeah.
Seagull deterrent. Hang on. Seagull deterrent operatives.
Oh, you're very close.
In brackets, Eagle Scout. Close brackets.
So they are looking for Seagull deterrents visitor services assistant.
Oh, I was fucking close.
You were close. Coming as no surprise.
But you would never know from that job ad. You'd never know from that headline that what that's going to mean is you humiliating you. Because the other thing is, listeners, these costumes, right? They are shit.
Yeah. It
looks like it's a real low-grade costume. It looks like a cartoon eagle, Rob.
Basically, these people, Alex, they are Poundland Disney characters, with the unfortunate benefit that you can actually see the page.
Oh, can I just say, Rob, right now, Poundland Disney characters is very, very good, Rob. I like that.
I think, but what's worse is the fact that at least with a Disney character, you're hidden away inside it. Here, the person you're speaking to can see your face.
What do you think life is like, Rob, for those Disney You think if you're at Disneyland, right? Because you've been to Euro Disney.
Yeah.
I many years ago, kind of really as a child or late teenager, I've been to both Disneyland and Disney World. Not showing off, just saying. Never been to the Euro one for obvious reasons. It's in France, and it was in Europe, which France is part of, and as everybody will know, not interested. Rob, those people who have to wander around as Mickey Mouse all day, or Pluto, or whatever it is, I don't know. There must be a feeling, isn't there? They get home and they take off that head, and they just slump on the couch in their kind of condo with their beer, and they're just
burst into tears. I think that's the way to go, Alex, to be honest.
And probably have quite violent fantasies as well, I just want to say that, but it's also that was said that was the same. No, Rob, that was said in the name of comedy, and also, as anybody will know, I now, because of my allegiance to Star Wars, I can't actually feel any sort of pre-Disney acquisition of Star Wars. I could make lots of jokes and have ambivalent feelings towards the organisation on many fronts, but now I am just, a keen supporter.
Yeah, fair enough.
Including in paying their subscription charge to Disney Plus,
which I do think represents value for money, personally.
Local Anaesthetic Podcast, sponsored by, I can't say because actually we're not, and that could land us in legal hot water, but
Yeah, I can imagine they're very litigious. Yeah. I've just gone onto Blackpool Zoo's website, and this is completely genuine, this advert.
Have you got that? Can you read us the job advert, Rob? The job description?
Well, this is the thing. It doesn't have...
Has it got a person spec?
Well, okay. A Blackpool Zoo goes without saying that we love all animals, and as a seaside resort, Blackpool is not short of seagulls. However, the seagulls are proving to be a bit of a nuisance when it comes to stealing food from our visitors and our animals' enclosures.
Can I just say then, don't open a pleasure park or whatever, a theme park on a beach. You're going to get seagulls. Move it somewhere else. It's not the seagulls' fault, is it? Really?
True. So we need to do what we can to keep the seagulls away from our main visiting dining areas, which is why we're looking for a team to join our visitor services team as Seagull Deterrents. We are looking for people that are visitor-focused, friendly, energetic, flexible, outgoing, as you need to be comfortable wearing a bird costume.
Yeah, right at the fucking end. Right at the beginning should be, just so you know, if you want to read any further, you're going to be wearing a costume. What did it say? Comfortable wearing degrading costumes?
Outgoing, as you need to be comfortable wearing a bird costume.
No, I don't know. I feel like, I think there's a high potential of what we were just saying about the people who dress up in costumes. So after 2 weeks, you go mad. Yeah. And one of them sort of sews a dildo onto the front of it and turns up at work and starts sort of running around. Like, do you know what I mean? Just something crazy.
Just completely lose the plot. So the role will be offered with variable seasonal hours. If this sounds like something you would be interested in, then email your covering letter to recruitment@blackpoolzoo.org.uk.
But it doesn't say what when it says comfortable wearing costume. It doesn't say comfortable wearing your costume with a picture showing you what that's going to be, an eagle costume, does it?
No, it doesn't. No. Oh no. Sorry, there is a picture of the eagle costume on the advert. Yes.
Right.
The one thing that it does upset me is the fact it doesn't actually say how much it pays. I would have liked to know that. But you have to obviously contact them.
Because what if eventually, from wearing the costume for so long, you begun to feel like you were losing your identity and you began to feel like do you know what I mean? You start just shitting on car roofs and things like that.
What, and then swooping in on small animals, that kind of thing. Which in a zoo would be a problem.
And then they have to bring in a costumed eagle deterrent team where you have to bring in a whole other group who wear another costume to get rid of the eagle costumed people that have gone rogue, and it keeps on.
Maybe, yeah, just the sort of self-perpetuating circle.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's no. I mean, basically, the rest of this article basically just covers the job advert. So, as we've already mentioned, I don't think we need to dwell on it. So, let's. So, look, if anyone is interested, obviously, reach out to Blackpool Zoo.
Okay, Rob, Easter is very well behind us, very far in the rearview mirror. But forgive me, Rob, because I just want to talk about an Easter-related story because it's too good not to. It's quite astonishing. This is from the Associated Press. It's by Jim Gomez. It's from April 8th, 2023. Okay, let's get into this, Rob. Nailed to a cross, Filipino man prays for Ukraine war to end.
Right. Has he sacrificed himself, Alex?
It's a bit more complicated than that. So this is in the Philippines. 8 Filipinos, Rob, were nailed to crosses to reenact Jesus Christ's suffering in a bloody Good Friday tradition, including a carpenter who was crucified, Rob, for the 34th time, with a prayer for Russia's invasion to Ukraine to end because it has made poor people like him more desperate. Yeah, so how many times this few? Yeah, 34, yeah, 34. Gets easier.
Okay. Yeah, I think you just need to tell me more, Alex, because I have questions, but I'm feeling that, I'm hoping there's going to be answers in the next couple of sentences. Okay,
well, the real-life crucifixions, Rob, that's key for you to understand. These aren't sort of mock. They're actually people who've been crucified. In the farming village of San Pedro in Pampanga province, north of Manila, resumed after a 3-year pause due to the coronavirus pandemic. So they didn't put it on during coronavirus, this. By the way, I'm looking at a picture of it, which looks very like the old biblical movies. There are a line of people crucified on crosses, and there are lots of people, with sort of women and men, sort of on the sand near them, sort of in sort of sort of just kneeling and sort of watching, and there are people dressed up as Roman guards, obviously to keep the site secure.
Okay.
But it's all in the Philippines.
Sure.
About a dozen villagers registered, but only to do this, So about 12, but only 8 showed up. So there were some cowards on the day, Rob. Cowards.
Right. Yeah, sure.
Including a 62-year-old carpenter and a sign painter called Rubin Anege, who screamed as he was nailed to a wooden cross with a large crowd watching in the scorching summer heat.
Alex, they do know they don't have to do this, right?
Well, look, there's a lot of iconography around to do with crucifixions within the Christian church, obviously. So but I think these people have taken it, maybe you're implying too literally. Is that what you're saying, that they've gone off and decided they need to do this? They need to...
Not even that much, Alex. No, I don't want to even go that far. If I was asked the question, do you want to be crucified? I would just say, no.
Yeah, well, no. Well, exactly, Rob. In a news conference shortly after his crucifixion, Inagi said he prayed for the radical... His camera up there while he's on there. What do you want for the world, mate? I need some blood. Have some vinegar on the lips.
Exactly, yeah.
Have another nail.
It's just something about the phrase. In a press conference following his crucifixion. I mean, I just can't process that.
I didn't think I'd ever be reading this story. Inage said he prayed, so he was asked, and in the news conference, Robbie said he prayed for the eradication of the COVID-19 virus and the end of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, which has contributed to gas and food prices soaring worldwide. His quote is, while he's nailed to a cross, it's just these two countries involved in that war, Russia and Ukraine, but all of us are being affected by the higher oil prices, even if we're not involved in that war. It's surprisingly cogent. Ahead of the crucifixions, Inagi told the Associated Press, this is presumably on the run-up, I have this lovely image, they're walking up to the crosses and the people are following him with the cameras. Yep. Got anything to say before, I'd watched this, I must say. Inagi told the Associated Press that the steep increases in oil and food prices after Russia invaded Ukraine made it harder for him to stretch his meagre income from carpentry and sign-making. I do wonder, Rob, did he make his own cross? Thousands of people, including foreign tourists, came to watch the annual religious spectacle in San Pedro, Cutud and 2 other nearby rural villages. Kitty Ennett, a veterinarian from Ireland, said the crucifixions were, in quotes, a very religious experience and they were well worth the long trip from her home in the United Kingdom. So Kitty, a vet from Ireland, has gone there to see somebody be crucified, Rob. Crucifixion tours are the new big thing. Yeah?
Apparently so.
She said, when I was seeing the young man doing the flogging and going up to the cross, it's very moving to see how much they sacrificed for their faith. I hope you're taking notes here, Rob. They really put themselves in the shoes of Jesus. Inage survived nearly unscathed when he fell from a 3-story building in 1985. So this story keeps on giving. Inagi survived nearly unscathed when he fell from a 3-story building in 1985. That's high, prompting him to undergo the ordeal as thanksgiving for what he considered a miracle. Right, so he fell from a 3-story building in 1985. He believes it was a miracle he survived, and in order to honour God and say thank you for that miracle, he now gets crucified every year. Apart from
yeah, no, that makes complete logical sense. I have no further questions.
The whole reason Rob and I don't want to speak for Rob, but for me anyway, the whole reason why I do this podcast is for stories like this. Yeah. We love all the stories, but it's when we get one where Rob and I, we're just like, we could spend days on this. I mean, it's good. This is good. And the fact it's just on the Associated Press News website, it just makes it even better. Like, it's nowhere else. But anyway. So he then extended the ritual after loved ones recovered from serious illnesses, one after the other. So do you see? And this turned him into a village celebrity as the Christ in the Lenten reenactment of the Way of the Cross. So do you understand, Rob, now?
Yes, I do. It's his way of repentance or his way of giving thanks for what he perceives as, specific or perceived miracles in his life. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, so my question to you is, given how much you have to be thankful for in your life, Rob, your job, the fact that Sarah's working, you've got a beautiful daughter, and she is, by the way, listeners, absolutely gorgeous. Why aren't you, Rob, sticking a cross up outside your house and hanging from it to say thank you? Why?
Because I don't want to, Alex.
Right. Okay. Yeah, what would have happened to the Christian faith if Jesus had said that? No thanks, buddy. I don't really want to do this, Pontius.
I mean, I think he has every right to have done that.
Right. Okay.
Sorry.
Great.
I mean, that would obviously be the end of Christianity as we know it. Does it give you more details about actually what happens during the crucifixion?
Yeah, right. Then, Rob, this is a great story. We might need to sack off whatever else we've got and move to the listener after this because we've got a bit more to go. Right. Ahead of their crucifixion on a dusty hill, lovely, Inaje and the other devotees wearing thorny crowns of twigs carry heavy wooden crosses on their backs for more than a kilometre in brutal heat. Village actors dressed as Roman centurions hammered 4-inch 10-centimetre stainless steel nails through his palms and feet and then set him aloft under the sun for about 10 minutes.
Sorry, did you say this man is a carpenter, Alex?
Yeah.
He works with his hands. Does it not cause any issues, the fact they're nailing nails through his hands?
Appear to have no idea what sacrifice. I think you maybe need to go back to the Gospels, Rob, and maybe really get to grips with what's going on there. I'm really quite stunned.
I need to turn off Netflix and go back to the Bible.
Other penitents walked barefoot through village streets and beat their bare backs with sharp bamboo sticks and pieces of wood. Some participants in the past opened cuts in the penitents' backs using broken glass to ensure the ritual was sufficiently bloody. Right? Rob,
yep.
The gruesome spectacle reflects the Philippines' unique brand of Catholicism, which merges church traditions with folk superstitions. Most of the mainly impoverished penitents undergo the ritual to atone for their sins, pray for the sick or for a better life, and give thanks for miracles. Church leaders in the Philippines have frowned upon the crucifixions and self-flagellations, saying Filipinos can show their faith and religious devotion without hurting themselves, and by doing charity work or sitting at home and eating Wotsits and eating Netflix. Robert Reyes, a prominent Catholic priest and human rights activist in the country, said the bloody rites reflect the church's failure to fully educate many Filipinos on Christian tenets, leaving them on their own to explore personal ways of seeking divine help for all sorts of maladies. Folk Catholicism, can I just say, folk Catholicism, that's a brand of music I want to start listening to.
It really is. But when you have this man who's basically saying that these idiots don't need to do this, there are other ways to give thanks to Christ. This is the message that so he's basically saying that they're uneducated.
Yeah, basically, which is patronising, Rob, I feel. Folk Catholicism has become deeply entrenched in a local religious culture, Reyes said, citing a chaotic annual procession of a black statue of Jesus Christ called the Black Nazarene, which authorities say draws more than 1 million devotees to January in one of Asia's largest religious festivals. Many bring towels to be wiped on the wooden statue, believing it has powers to cure ailments and ensure good health and a better life. The question is, where were we church people when they started doing this, Reyes asked, saying the clergy should immerse themselves in communities more and talk with villagers. If we judge them, we'll just alienate them. Good point. The decades-long crucifixion tradition, meanwhile, can I just say, the decades-long crucifixion tradition is nice,
yep.
Has put impoverished San Pedro Cutud, one of more than 500 villages in rice-growing Pampanga province, on the map. Organisers say more than 15,000 foreign and Filipino tourists and devotees gather for the cross nailings and 2 other nearby villages. There was a festive air as villagers peddled bottled water, hats, food and religious items, and police and marshals kept order. They like this because there's really nothing like this on earth, said Johnson Gareth, a British tour organiser who brought 15 tourists from 8 countries, including the US, Canada and Germany, to witness the crucifixion. So it is Crucifixion Tour, Rob, 2023. So that's the end of that. So do you fancy, Rob, we go on a... Rob needs some good old Christian re-education, I feel, right. And we can. And next week, I'm hoping he will be more on board with what's happening here.
Alex, wasn't the good old Christian education what the Crusades were all about?
Okay, Rob, on to our listener story of the week to finish this episode. Who is it from?
So it's from Steve again, who's been submitting some top quality content. We're back in Blackpool, Alex.
Before we go to Blackpool, we should say we were talking about you maybe nailing yourself to a cross outside where you live. What we should say is just down the road from where you live, as we talked about the other day. I mean, literally down the road, there is a person who has a very large effigy statue of the Virgin Mary in a bathtub. So that might be where you do it, Rob.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, also they do have in the same garden there is a life-size cow statue. I mean, I don't know if the two are connected, but they would probably be very much on board for that. So this is from the Lancs Live from the 14th of April by Chantel Heeds. the headline is Seagull dies after being pulled by man around Blackpool on leash.
Now, I thought you were going to say Seagull dies after, Seagull deterrent man wearing eagle costume, batters it to death. Takes the job too far, because it didn't say in that. Like, what if you start taking it into your own hands and you start just beating them on picnic tables and things like that? Yeah, snapping necks. We should have said that, really.
Yeah.
Sorry. So you just told me that a man's been dragging a seagull around on a leash.
Yes. Yes, he has.
Does he think the seagull is his pet? Does he?
It would appear so. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Now.
Well, there is a famous phrase, Rob. Seagulls are a man's best friend.
Very true. Now, this is a sad story, I'm sorry to say, but...
could I put some... Hang on a minute. Can I put some sad music on then? I think
so. Yeah, I think so.
Hang on. Let me find something suitable here. This is... Does that making you sad? It's making me sad.
Yeah, really that is sad. Quite downbeat. Yeah. So, a seagull was sadly put to sleep after it was seen being pulled around by a man in Blackpool on a leash.
Sorry, why was the seagull punished? Why was he put to... What the fuck has the seagull done wrong? Some man has struck a leash around and been dragging around, and then they put the seagull to sleep?
Alex, he was dragging a seagull around on a leash. The seagull didn't want to go willingly.
That's what I mean. So why put the seagull to sleep?
Well, I'm guessing it was... Well, anyway...
That's what I'm trying to say. Why punish the seagull?
Well, because it was ill, Alex. It was unwell after being dragged around.
Could they not nursed it back to health?
Maybe. So Lancashire Police record reports that a man was pulling a live seagull around the pavement with a rope around its neck.
Steve, sorry.
About 8 p.m.
Sorry, Steve. This is a classic, isn't it? When he saw that, he must have been like, right, this is getting featured on the pod. What? Sorry. When is he dragging around? Was the seagull? Has it lost the will? Couldn't. Was it just okay?
I just imagine this man's caught the seagull and put a rope
made
around
love to it.
He made love to it and then tried to asphyxiate it. So yeah, pulling a live seagull around the pavement with a rope around its neck. Officers attended the man in his 50s was arrested for being drunk and disorderly, as you'd have to be.
How did he get hold of the seagull? I do think he was a failed applicant for this job. I think it's the only explanation.
Maybe. Do you know this is his job advert?
Yeah, this is his. That was his test run.
Yeah, exactly. He was subsequently...
He's like an old sheriff, Rob, with a lasso.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you're
rounding up seagulls. He's the marshal.
For the Seagull Cowboy, which is the film I'd watch. He was subsequently de-arrested and the police said the matter is still being investigated. Pictures and videos of the incident went viral on social media with many users expressing their concern.
Oh, whoa. Are there pictures? First of all, can I say, imagine being the lawyer brought in to represent him. That is a great gig. Right, hang on. Rob, wait.
There's no video on the...
No, I don't want a video, I want pictures. So hang on,
there's only one.
Man dragging seagull leash.
Blackpool leash, yeah, Blackpool leash.
Seagull put down after man seen. Obviously the Guardian didn't include the picture. Sorry, Rob, is that one picture that... Is it the recreate... Is it him and the seagull recreating the famous Abbey Road cover? Because that's all I'm seeing. That anybody knows the front of Beatles Abbey Road, there is a man crossing what we call a zebra crossing here, or maybe it's a pelican crossing, I don't know, it's a black and white striped crossing. Right, so the seagull is not lying on the floor, but it looks like it's heavily resistant to being moved, is the way I'd describe it. But that needs to be the front of an album cover. Right?
I mean, it's a very bleak picture because he's standing, basically, he's crossing a zebra crossing, or I'm not sure the difference is kind of in front of a roundabout, and then in the background there's some terraced houses, what looks like an industrial building. It's a very bleak scene.
So, Rob, what the fuck exactly is modern Britain? What the fuck, unlike the hopeful scene on the front of Abbey Road, what the fuck is this? I mean, we're not talking about some rope. He's got a proper dog leash round this seagull. The seagull looks frightened.
Yes.
But it also looks obedient. It looks like it's been doing this for a while. It looks like it's actually really disturbing. I don't want to look at it anymore. There is a video, apparently.
Yeah, there's a video. I haven't seen the video. I haven't tried to...
Oh, come on, Rob. I'm watching it now. Right, I've got it. I'm watching it. I'm doing it. Right, Rob, can you still hear me?
Yes, I can.
There's a neighbour filming him out the window. The guy has left his house and he is literally dragging a very, very reluctant seagull by a lead down the street. This is incredible. Absolutely incredible. And that is it. That's all we get. Rob, he's left the house with the seagull like he's taking the dog for a walk.
Right. Oh, God.
Okay, do you want to keep reading, Rob?
Yes, of course. So basically, the seagull's taken to the RSPCA, who
interviewed it.
No.
Interview with a seagull.
Well, the RSPCA let the Lancs Live know that they've telephoned with an update to say that a passerby secured the goal off him. He was taken to the vet and sadly put to sleep.
Now, hang on, because I'm looking at the same story as you are, so I can see what you've just read. A passerby secured the gull. That's a very... there's a whole story in there that could be a whole other article. So did he... What happened? Did he have an altercation with this guy? Get the lead off him? Do you know what I mean? I mean, it's quite an enigmatic sort of sentence. That wow.
It is. Yeah. It is. It doesn't go into. It doesn't really tell us any more, unfortunately.
Rob, I do really like the next collection of sentences.
Yes,
if you can read them out, Rob, with
enigmatic.
with
our
tenderness,
lovely vet once said to us.
Now, hang on. We would add that it did look severely unwell. Which is
yes, and we cannot know if it could have recovered, which implies that they probably should have tried instead of just putting it to sleep.
Yeah.
I mean, it is bizarre, this quote. So our lovely vet said to us that she thought that people were often against seagulls because they are successful. What does that mean, Alex? What, in business?
I think I feel a lot of professional envy and many other kind of envy about seagulls. I mean, what the fuck does that mean? Our lovely vet once said to us she thought that people are often against seagulls because they're successful. So let's just imagine this. One day, they happen to be talking about seagulls, and the vet goes, yeah, I think a lot of the reason people don't like seagulls is they're so successful.
Yeah.
That isn't the reason I don't like seagulls. The reason seagulls annoy me is they're fucking not loud and noisy.
Well, Alex, this is your bias showing, because the vet goes on to say this is sadly often the case of the human pecking order. So she implies that apparently, in her estimation, seagulls are above humanity.
Rob, sorry, 1 minute. The seagull just needs letting out. Sorry, just 1 minute.
Right.
Go on then. Just being obstinate. You know when you're letting them out and do you need the toilet or not? I'll just leave it out there.
Alex, could you stop speaking down to the seagull, please? Because the seagull's better than you.
Yeah, no, and Then she says, this is sadly often the case with the human pecking order. We love seagulls here. Sorry, Rob. Good night, little gull. May the next world be much kinder. If there is a next world, of course.
Yeah, I think that vet needs some mental health counselling.
I do believe in an afterlife. I will be disappointed if there's a lot of seagulls. I mean, it just wasn't part of the plan. I didn't think they'd be part of the equation, really.
No, that's a good point. There's also another quote from the RSPCA, which probably is in your story as well. But they felt they needed to say that putting a gun on a leash would be extremely stressful for the bird, as it would prevent it from being engaged in its natural behaviour and could lead to injury or death. So please don't put seagulls on leads.
Well, I also liked that they were a bit, I don't know, the spokesperson for the police said, we were called about 8 p.m. on Monday to report of a man pulling a live seagull along the pavement with a rope around its neck in Blackpool. Officers attended and the man in his 50s was arrested for being drunk and disorderly. There are some comments on the story. Do you want to go through them?
Yes, we can do. So... Is there any ones that you can pick out? I like the...
Well, I just like them all. AMSA said, of course, alcohol had been involved in this barbarity. This is supposed to be a civilised society. Sarsaparilla Drop says, in this case, yes, but sadly, in most cases, it's about plain and simple violence. Can I say plain and simple violence is a lovely episode title? Yeah,
it is. Grumpy 100 says, could be his supportee seagull. Good point. We didn't think about that.
Yeah, that is true. Sweeney 007 says, there really are some dreadful people around. Pure scum. And Road Train also says, evil scum. And Born and bred in Lancashire says, I would really like to bump into this scumbag. I think we're looking at different stories, by the way. I'm looking at the Lancashire Telegraph. So you're looking at different... Right.
So I've got Dr. Thompson says, looks like a golden retriever. Very good.
That's not appropriate. It's not appropriate.
Flipping next says, put him in the stocks in Polton. I don't know where Polton is.
The seagull? That would be a bit unfair. It's already been through a lot. Why are you putting in the stocks?
Lubiloo says, why is his face blanked out? We are so pink and fluffy these days. Can't offend the offender. Yeah, good point. Yeah.
We've got to assume, Rob. I mean, we have to assume that this Seagull was his romantic partner. I mean, it's his gull wife, isn't it?
Sadly, I think you could be right, Alex. On
that chilling ending, we move on. I mean, it's left a bit of taste in my mouth for that, Rob, because that bird did not look happy.
No.
It's really sad that. Why didn't he buy a dog?
Seagulls are cheaper, Alex.
How did he catch us? I would think a seagull would be very difficult to catch. I think it'd be very difficult to put a rope around a seagull's neck without it fucking. They can be vicious, Rob.
Come on, mate. You just need a few chips, and that's how you catch a seagull. It's not difficult.
Right. Okay. We're going to be back in a week's time with episode, I think, 390 of LAPodcast. As you know, the Patreon is no longer in operation. We are here now on a weekly basis. We do need your support. Please go to LAPodcast.net. There's a PayPal button in the top right-hand corner. You could offer us a one-time donation, or you can. Some people have set up a small rolling donation. We would really appreciate that. And if you were helping us out on the Patreon, please just sign up there on the PayPal thing on LAPodcast.net and just do a donation there. It really helps keep the podcast afloat. And for that, of course, you'll get access to all the LA Podcast Extra Jab episodes that Rob and I did, including the ill-fated Daft Talk, which we love doing as a podcast, but it appeared, Rob, our podcast appeared to lead to the shutdown of Yahoo Answers.
Yeah.
I do believe the two things were directly related, to be perfectly honest. That's fine. God bless.
And keep it local.